Mexico versus Puerto Rico. In boxing, there is no bigger national rivalry. It's pride, it's history, it's war. And in 1981, that rivalry came down to two men. One was an unstoppable knockout machine from San Juan, Puerto Rico, the reigning World Junior Featherweight Champion, 32 wins, 0 losses, 1 draw, 32 knockouts. His name, Wilfredo Bazooka Gómez.
Look at that, almost through the ropes.
Well, Wilfredo Gómez, a knocker, Bazooka,
Puerto Rican,
knocker,
right?
monster.
The other was a quiet technician from Santiago Tianguistenco, Mexico, the WBC Featherweight King, 40 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, 30 knockouts. His name, Salvador Sánchez.
He didn't care who it was, he fought him. So anytime you got a guy that fights all comers, who in better shape than everybody, who got the best offensive attack of all time, how could you not admire that?
2 styles, 2 legacies, 1 night that changed boxing forever. They billed it as the Battle of the Little Giants. Vegas odds makers expected a knockout. What they didn't factor in was the force behind one man, a nation's thirst for revenge. Enter Wilfredo Bazooka Gómez. By 1981, Wilfredo Gómez had built a reputation for ending fights early and brutally, thanks to his power, tempo, and pressure. He turned pro in 1974. His first fight ended in a draw. From there, he launched a full-scale knockout campaign that terrorized the division. By 1977, he won the WBC title against Don Kyung Yum. And from that point on, every title defense looked the same. Pressure, hooks around the guard, right hands that thudded like a baseball bat on wet clothes. For opponents, there was no surviving 15 rounds. The only question was how long they could last. Outside the island, he was feared. But in Puerto Rico, he wasn't just a knockout artist. He was a symbol. The island had produced great fighters before, but Gómez felt different. He didn't just win, he destroyed. And every time he stepped into the ring, Puerto Rican fans saw a reflection of themselves, fearless, proud, and impossible to ignore. Gómez wasn't just a champion, he was proof that their island could produce the most feared fighter in the world. By now, Wilfredo had blasted through 2 Mexican fighters by the name of Jose Murillo and Raul Tirado, and his third Mexican victim was right around the corner. On April 8, 1978, Mexican challenger Juan Antonio Lopez got the opportunity to fight for the WBC Super Bantamweight title in Gómez's home turf of Puerto Rico. Lopez was tough, came to fight, but it didn't matter. Gómez walked him down, broke him apart, and knocked him out in 7 rounds. By now, the boxing world knew that in San Juan, Puerto Rico, there was a Category 5 storm in full effect, and the storm's name was Wilfredo Gómez. But Mexico had its own executioner, a monster just 1 division below, and if there was a fighter to beat Gómez, it was him. A man just as brutal, just as feared. He was knocking out fighters left and right. The ring's Fighter of the Year in 1977, widely considered the most feared puncher in boxing at the time. And to Mexicans, he wasn't just elite, he was mythical. A perfect record with 52 wins, 0 losses, with 51 knockouts, he was boxing's coldest finisher. His name, Carlos Zárate. On October 28, 1978, Carlos Zárate walked into the Roberto Clemente Coliseum in San Juan, looking like a man who'd never been denied. He had that aura, a destroyer, Mexico's cold-blooded finisher. But across from him was Puerto Rico's young phenom, undefeated, vicious, and fighting in front of a crowd that treated him like a god. Right from the start, Zarate tried to take over, stepping forward with that slow, stalking pressure that had broken so many guys before him. But the moment Gómez fired back, everything changed.
40 segundos para concluir el mismo. Gancho de izquierda de Wilfredo.
Every time Gómez let his hands go, the place shook. Each exchange got louder. Zarate kept pressing, trying to drown him in pressure until Gómez spun out, flipped the position, and cracked him with heavy shots.
Pegando muy bien.
Zarate didn't back down. He fired right back.
Derecho del rostro de Gómez. 30 segundos.
They tied up and went to work inside, both guys ripping shots, testing each other. As the rounds went on, Zarate pushed Gómez to the ropes and finally landed clean. But Gómez answered with a straight right so sharp it cut through the noise and blew the roof off the arena.
Evitar un golpe con la cabeza. Una derecha de Gómez corta el rostro de
Zarate kept coming, finding little moments of success. Gómez snapped back with counters that stung. That fired Zarate up. He charged like a bull. By then, the chess match was gone. They were fighting on pride.
Va a concluir el tercer asalto. Tiene que intervenir Gibbs.
The fourth round started, and they came out throwing with bad intentions.
Intercambiando golpes. Ambos púgiles, pero sin hacer mella todavía.
Zarate pushed forward again, muscling Gómez back and finally trapping him in the corner.
De cualquier parte para tratar de meter un buen golpe.
And that is when everything flipped. Gómez planted his feet, Zarate stepped in, and Gómez detonated a left hook that dropped him hard.
Girar.
Gómez jumped on him, going for the finish. He was in full beast mode and even scored another knockdown after the bell.
Ambos púgiles han continuado pegándose golpes. Wilfredo
Between rounds, the place was in absolute chaos. In the fifth, Gómez came out like a man on a mission. Zarate's corner saw what everyone else already knew. Their guy was done. They threw in the towel. San Juan exploded.
se detiene el encuentro, la victoria para el puertorriqueño Wilfredo Gómez por la vía del knockout a los 2 minutos 16 segundos del quinto asalto. Una soberbia demostración de coraje la que acaba de brindar el puertorriqueño Wilfredo Gómez, demostrando ser el mejor hombre en las 120 libras.
And Mexico went silent. Wilfredo Gómez had just devoured Mexico's monster, his fourth Mexican victim, and delivered one of the most violent statements of his career. Mexico couldn't believe what they were seeing. They just witnessed their undefeated hero fall, and the shock rocked them like an earthquake. Zarate wasn't supposed to lose. Not like that. Not over there. And especially not to him. As Gómez celebrated with his people, another country sat in silence, drowning in hurt and humiliation. And beneath the shock, beneath the silence, one thought rose above the rest: revenge. But Mexico didn't just want to win. They wanted redemption. But who could deliver it? Enter Salvador Sánchez. Salvador Sánchez was gifted. He fought with a calm, cold intelligence that made the ring feel like it belonged to him. He controlled distance, pace, and rhythm with effortless balance, slipping danger by inches and answering with sharp, disciplined counters. His stamina was relentless. The longer a fight went, the more he tightened the screws. Punchers couldn't bully him.
Sanchez just in total charge now.
Boxers couldn't outthink him, and pressure never cracked him. He wasn't loud or flashy. On the contrary, his precision, patience, and composure were unreal for a fighter his age. Outside the ring, Sanchez was soft-spoken and reserved. He didn't chase attention, he chased perfection. And that quiet intensity made him even more dangerous. Because when the bell rang, the calm dropped, and what stepped forward was a man who hunted you round by round until you had nothing left to give. On February 2nd, 1980, Salvador Sánchez became the featherweight king by dethroning Danny Little Red Lopez and controlled the division from that point on. Salvador Sánchez defended his title 6 times before facing Wilfredo Gómez. He won a hard-fought 15-rounder against Ruben Castillo. Rematched Danny Little Red Lopez and won the fight by technical knockout.
Oh, and there Lopez is the champion, and that is all. 14th round.
After that, he defeated Pat Ford.
All right, a split decision. It was that close.
And Puerto Rico's Juan Laporte. Setting him up for his 5th title defense against Roberto Castañón, beating him by technical knockout in the 10th. Before facing Gómez, Sanchez fought Nicky Perez to win by unanimous decision.
Salvador Sánchez!
That night, Wilfredo Gómez was in attendance and jumped into the ring to square off with Sanchez.
They're more than a little serious, and Cristobal Rosas comes between the two.
The date was set, August 21st, 1981. Caesars Palace, Las Vegas. The WBC featherweight title on the line. On one side, Salvador Sánchez, Mexico's cold, surgical technician. On the other, Wilfredo Gómez, Puerto Rico's knockout machine. Gómez promised an early finish. The odds makers didn't blink. They expected it. On paper, the script was already written. But Sanchez was bringing an element no one had accounted for. Mexico hadn't forgotten Lopez. They sure hadn't forgotten Zarate. To them, Gómez didn't just beat their fighters, he humiliated them. and Sanchez stepped into that ring knowing exactly what he had to deliver. Fight night, Vegas heat, and the crowd electric. Gómez came first with a full salsa band from Puerto Rico. Brass, congas, singers. The music filled the arena as he smiled and waved to the crowd. Then it was Sanchez's turn. He walked in with a live mariachi, trumpets, violins, guitars, wearing their traditional charro suits.
I don't know about you guys standing here ringside, but I get chills watching all this. It's exciting, Bobby, because it's a good fight.
For a moment, it felt like two nations had brought their soundtracks to war. Full-on battle of the bands on each corner, taunting each other.
Like it's now the battle of the bands.
Carlos, we talked about the Latin temperament. This is an example of some temperament that's very positive. It really is.
Mexico versus Puerto Rico. Mariachi versus salsa. And in the middle of it, two men about to decide who would walk out a national hero.
Wilfredo Gómez. Salvador Sánchez. 15 rounds of boxing.
The bell rings. The two champions circle, feeling each other out, trading those early tester shots. Gómez backs Sanchez to the ropes, but Sanchez fires back. Two clean rights and a short left, and down goes Gómez. He gets up, but Sanchez jumps on him, sharp and cold, picking him apart. Sanchez cracks Gómez with a huge overhand right that buckles his legs. Gómez is running on instinct now, trying to survive, trying to answer back. But Sanchez won't let him breathe, walking him down, punishing him to the bell. What a round. Mexican fans are losing their minds. Puerto Rico fans are stunned. In the second, Gómez comes out fast, throwing flurries, trying to get back into the fight. Sanchez stays calm, sliding, jabbing, picking him off clean. Mid-round, they plant their feet and trade bombs. The crowd explodes. Mexican fans chant. But that fires up Gómez too. He storms forward, corners Sanchez, and unloads. Gómez starts the third looking refreshed, pushing Sanchez to the ropes, trying to force his fight. But Sanchez keeps slipping away, always moving. Gómez traps him and lets his hands go, but Sanchez snaps back a sharp two-piece that sends Gómez retreating. Still, Gómez won't fold. He presses again, pins Sanchez on the ropes, and they trade. But Sanchez's defense is on another level, slipping, rolling, making it look easy. Round 4 starts and Gómez comes forward again, trying to force the fight. But Sanchez meets him with movement, the jab, and clean, accurate shots. Gómez keeps pressing, refusing to back off. He finally corners Sanchez and they trade toe-to-toe to the bell. Gómez comes out firing, drives Sanchez to the ropes, and unloads with some of the best shots. But Sanchez stays cool. Goes right back to the rhythm, movement, jab, precision. Gómez keeps pushing until Sanchez decides he's done backing up and fires back, meeting Gómez head on. Round 6 starts with both men circling, trading sharp shots. Sanchez goes right back to that jab, movement, counters, keeping Gómez turning. But Gómez won't stop. He keeps pressing, drives Sanchez to the ropes, and forces another exchange. He's giving everything he has, but he's paying for every step. Round 7 begins, Gómez with a sense of urgency. Sanchez counters. Then Gómez pulls back for a moment. Sanchez jumps in, taking control with crisp shots. But Gómez fires back, refusing to let him run away with it. Moments later, Gómez lands a clean two-piece that buckles Sanchez, and the Puerto Rican fans erupt. He chases him to the corner, and they trade in a furious exchange. Sanchez slips out, but Gómez traps him again, throwing everything he has. In between rounds, Gómez is busted up. Sanchez looks cool, calm, and collected. Gómez refuses to quit. Not with that power, not with the world watching. He comes out crowding Sanchez, trying to keep it close, knowing he can't chase his movement anymore. Sanchez stays light, gliding around as Gómez swings heavy and hard. Then Sanchez digs a sharp three-piece to the body, clean and punishing. You could see it now. Gómez's power was still there, but his sharpness wasn't. Sanchez turns him and unleashes a barrage that nearly sends Gómez out of the ring. And somehow, Gómez rises, showing a heart the size of Puerto Rico. He wants to continue, but the referee, Carlos Padilla, looks into his eyes, sees the truth, and waves it off. The arena's reaction says it all. You can feel it rip through the crowd. A release years in the making. For Mexico, this isn't just a win, it's payback. Sanchez didn't just keep his belt, he settled every score. He closed the book on every Mexican fighter Gómez beat. He knocked out the man who'd haunted Mexico for years.
Una tremenda pelea. Mira, quiero hacerte una pregunta. Se hablaba mucho tanto del poder de Gómez. ¿Sentiste los golpes de él en cuál momento?
Efectivamente, no me llegó a lastimar con ningún golpe, pero se siente inmediatamente la pesadez de sus puños.
¿Te sorprendió a ti que pudiste lastimarlo en el primer round?
No, no me sorprendió porque yo me preparé para luchar desde el primer round como lo demostré.
On the other hand, Wilfredo was devastated.
No pude ganar, defraudé a un pueblo, defraudé a todos los puertorriqueños. Y los puertorriqueños se sienten defraudados.
For Gómez, the loss was a turning point.
In this life, all of us as human beings have to win and lose. And everything that goes up by the law of nature must come down. So I don't think that anyone on the face of the earth is invincible.
He got permission from the WBC to take a couple of non-title bouts, then defended his super bantamweight title 4 more times. After regrouping at super bantamweight and rebuilding his momentum, Gómez eventually moved up and captured the WBC featherweight title against Juan Laporte in 1985. After an illustrious career, he would be inducted into the Hall of Fame. For Sanchez, the night lifted him from champion to immortal. He defended the title 3 more times against Pat Cowdell.
The cut on the left eye. And again, and he's got Cowdell at the very finish. 20 seconds to go.
Rocky Garcia.
Salvador Sánchez.
And future Hall of Famer Azuma the Professor Nelson. And it felt like he was only getting started, when all of a sudden, it ended. No build-up, no warning. Less than a year after the Gómez fight, on August 12, 1982, Salvador Sánchez lost his life in a car accident. 23 years old, right on the edge of his prime, right in the middle of everything, he was becoming. And that's what hits the hardest. All things he never got to do, and all things we never got to see. The rematch with Gómez, testing himself at higher weight classes, finding out just how far he could push it, how high he could have climbed. In a moment, he was gone. What we do have is that one perfect night in Las Vegas, where he took all the weight of a rivalry, all the hurt from his nation, and turned it into a masterpiece. That night didn't just define Sanchez, it redefined Gómez too, because greatness isn't just measured by the wins. Sometimes it's measured by who you dared to face. The Mexico vs. Puerto Rico rivalry keeps adding new names and chapters to its history. But if you want to understand why it matters so much, if you want to see what it looks like when national pride and greatness all collide in one ring, you go back to August 21st, 1981. Caesar's Palace, salsa against mariachi, power against precision, and Salvador Sánchez, the quiet kid from Tianguistenco, handing Wilfredo Gómez his first defeat and giving Mexico a night it will never forget. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to like, hype, and subscribe to The Fight Sector. See you next time.